I be like, praise God, praise God. I really don't deserve it. Preacher was teaching, I was just swerving, thinking it wasn't that urgent. I saw the light and closed the curtains. Still in my heart, it was working. Died in the place of my ugliest version. Then one day everything changed. I took a bath in the blood detergent. Look at the drip. Yeah, I came up a new creation.
Okay, it's really windy, and I hope you can hear me. But I was just reminiscing on like how we met and like when we first met and that whole like origin story of our friendship, and it got me thinking of like your perspective of like what is our origin and friendship story from your perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought it would be cool to hear each other's side. But for me, I remember when I met you back in 2012, just kind of reminiscing here, and met you back in 2012 when you showed up to my wedding. Well, okay, you showed up days before my wedding, but I remember talking to you on the phone first because I was told that a plus one was coming, that Sandra was bringing a plus one, and to my wedding, he had a new girlfriend. And I remember, and this is the part that I would love to hear from you too, because I don't remember how the conversation came about where you ended up making the programs for my wedding. Do you remember that? You made the programs for my wedding. And so we had a conversation on the phone before ever even meeting. And there was like an email exchange so I could give you all of the details that need to be on the program. And you made the programs for my wedding, and you showed up like days before. Man, that car is going fast. You showed up days before the wedding, and I met you, and I thought, wow, she's really bubbly and nice. You were not shy at all, which I think was really great because we're not a very just like, I don't want to say we're not warm, but we're just not like super like affectionate when we meet people for the first time. And so to have you come in and you were just like, you know, just bright, bubbly, just, you did not care. It was like you knew us forever. You did not care. You got in there, and it was pretty cool. And so I liked you from the start, but it was just like the girl that my brother was dating, you know? And then you came to my bachelorette party. You obviously came to the wedding and danced your tail off. We had a good time. And then after that, I remember anytime Sanjay would come over, like come to town, because we, at that point, you know, didn't live in the same state. And so anytime he would come to visit, he'd bring the girlfriend, which is you. And so we'd hang out, get to know each other. And then he proposed. And I think our friendship was growing even then, because when he proposed and you were planning your wedding, you asked me to be in the wedding, and I was in the wedding. But I think at that point for me, we were just friends by association. Like, you were marrying my brother and you were nice. Like, I had no reason to not like you. So our friendship, to me, I feel like at that point was just because you were marrying my brother, so you're like gonna be in my family. Oh my god, I almost lost my life. Not today. Yeah, so I think that, like, I feel like that's what our friendship kind of was like back then. In those days, it was great, but I think it was like that because outside of you coming to visit, like, I don't remember us really chatting a whole lot on the phone or through text or anything like that. I'm not saying we didn't, but I just don't remember it a whole lot back then, you know? It was just more so whenever you came to visit, that's when we just like hit it off and would whatever. And so, yeah. And then, for me, I feel like then obviously you guys became parents. So I was already a parent to, when you came along, I had one. Then we had two. And so we had two whole kids before you guys even started having kids. And so I think when you became a mom, became a parent, I think that was the start of it too, to where we started to have more in common, like we could relate more. And then we got pregnant at the same time. Me with my fourth, you with your third at the time. And I feel like that's when things just took off. Like that's when our friendship just like, you know, like went to another level because we really had something in common. You know, we were like, I think due like a month apart, although we ended up having the kids and they're 11 days apart because you know how due dates go, but they were like a month apart. We were like a month apart in due dates, so we would talk about like, oh, how are you feeling, or are you feeling this, or what's going on there, you know. I feel like we would ask questions like that, and that's when things kind of took off. And I'm like also really curious to hear from you, when did we start MP, like when did we start Marco Polo-ing? Ooh, this wind. I feel like I should walk backwards. Yeah, when did this Marco Polo thing, when did we start? I feel like we've been Marco Polo-ing for years, because I remember Marco Polo-ing at the old house. I want to say since like 2018. Oh my gosh, I don't know. But again, I would love to hear from you when, like your perspective, and when this all started. Because it's been some years. We've been going back and forth. So, yeah. Yeah. Let me know your side. You know, we can keep talking. But I'm curious.
I was dying just now listening to you reminisce because I started getting flooded with memories, and I definitely do not remember like volunteering to make your programs, or even I remember now that I did make them and they were like little fans, but as to why or how I got into that, I have no idea. I was like, I forgot I even did that. I don't know, I've always liked crafting, so maybe I was like, maybe I asked you what I could do to help. I'm sure that's what I did. Probably just asked how I could help or what I could do for the wedding, because I knew I was coming and I didn't just want to sit there on my butt. And I remember like walking in the house and people were making like rum cake and trying the rum cake for the first time and being like, oh. And then since then I've had different rum cake that I did like. But anyways, that first rum cake I was like, well, I don't know about this, the wedding cake. And then I remember the wedding. But then now I'm remembering like going and sitting at your house in Indiana and holding Mason and sitting there chatting with you. But you're right, I was always more kind of there with Sanjay, and if we chatted it was because, yeah, I was in town or whatever. But there wasn't necessarily that closeness factor. It was like we could chill and we could have a good time, and we would like do stuff together with our families. Oh, at that time it was me and Sanjay and then you guys. But I'm like cracking up because then I even remember vividly like riding in the car with everyone around your time of your wedding. This is like backtrack for a second. When you were like, oh, you're so sweet and bubbly, you just fit in. I was like, well, I'm glad you thought so, because I was in the car hearing everybody yelling and hollering and screaming at each other, and I had to be like, wait, is anyone mad at somebody else? And it was either you or Matt that explained, like, everybody just talks loud like this. I was like, okay. But so even if you're loud, you're not mad, like you're just talking. And I specifically remember Mike being so loud. You want gum? All right, go check with Daddy. I think he has some. So like all those memories I'm just being flooded with, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember like learning all these things. And so there's like the loudness, and then Amy's there and she's talking, and I'm asking Matt, is she speaking in English? And he's like dying because she's speaking English, but she's speaking patois. And I am like, I do not understand a word. And like I'm pretty sure I had you rolling too, because I was just so lost. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to ignore this woman. I want to ignore grandma, but I have no idea what she's saying. And so anyways, I'm just being flooded with those memories. So I remember the wedding. Huh? Yeah, I have to put them in the oven. I remember look, I'm making cookies.
I want to say hi. You want
to say hi to Buffy?
Hi.
So I remember the wedding, but I remember the bachelorette party. Oh my gosh. And I was like, we went to a drag queen show, and I was like, this girl is wild. And she's like, well, my friends planned this. Like, you knew nothing what we were going to do. And I just remember being like, these chicks is wild. But I had never been to a drag show before. So this was like my first time downtown New York and doing all these things. I remember we had a good meal somewhere, and like, I don't know, but it was just wild and it was fun. So that's what I remember being the beginning of like meeting and our first interactions, and then like learning the family too. And then fast forward, I agree. I think as I became a mom and we were balancing more kids and we were seeing the kids play together, and we'd get together for more family events, like we always do Christmas with the Christmas PJs, and we'd end up having like heart-to-hearts and serious conversations at those, and good laughs too. But I just remember growing closer and closer. And then anytime I'd be at, like, since we were always moving all over, anytime we'd be at my mom's in Illinois, I was always like, are we gonna make it over to Indy, or can you come this way? And so I remember that too, and like Thanksgivings together, and just growing at family events, like over time, sharing really meaningful conversations. And then eventually we must have hit it off, like for real, and started Marco Polo-ing, texting, all that kind of stuff. But definitely I would say a significant marker was being pregnant, with Zeke and Juju, your last, my third. And I'm like, you remember hanging out at Nana's, like when they were both January, February, March, like 3 months old, and we took all the kids to the beach, and we like conquered the beach with all of our, that time you had 4 and I had 3, so 7 kids by ourselves. Oh, and even before that, when we went to the reunion in Jamaica, and you brought your kids and I brought mine because both of our husbands were gone, but we both went, and we like hooked up the whole time and like hung out and had the kids playing with each other, and still managed to have a good time, and even have a girls' night on the porch. That was clutch, because at that time I even only had, I think that's where it really started, if I had to be honest, was some of those girls' nights in Jamaica. And I remember us specifically sitting on the porch and going down to the bar first and asking if we could just have a bottle of champagne because we're moms and our kids are sleeping. And we had Nadine, we had cousin Nadine watching them, so no harm, no foul. But we were like, we would have just felt better if we just were in the room with them while they were sleeping. So go get our bottle of champagne. We released Nadine to go do her thing, and we just sat up there on the porch and enjoyed ourselves in our pretty little jumpers and our lashes and our makeup. And I don't know, girl, that's what I remember. But I'm actually like being flooded with memories, but those are some of the highlights, and I'm sure I could go on and on. But I don't know, do you remember some of this stuff? Does it make you think of anything else? But yeah, I think we always got along. I just think it went deeper, especially when we had kids, and then especially when we were both navigating our marriages and being newly married. Because you got married and then I got married like, I want to say, was it 2 or 3 years later? Shoot, I can't remember what year you got married. But I the last thing I'll say is that I remember doing a book, like praying head to toe for your husband when we were. You want something to chew on? You can't find gum? Get a cracker. Get some crackers. So let's see, or drink some water. But yeah, I remember doing that book. Do you remember getting like 2 other girlfriends, maybe Camille and Fabi, to do that book together? And we like were in a group text, and this was when we were newlyweds. And so, I mean, that was all us connecting. You're right that it was like at one point we got closer, and then now it's like till death do us part, you know what I'm saying? But no, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. All right, I gotta go because these kids want snacks, and I fed them a full dinner, and it's friggin' 8:30, and they all want to stuff their face at night. It's like they want to get all their calories in at the end of the day. So here we are. I'm gonna serve these cookies, give them some more water, and put them in bed.
So piggybacking off of you, I thought it was so funny that you did not remember that you also didn't remember that you made my programs. Because I'm over here like hoping, I'm sure she is going to remember and be like, yes, this is why I made this. Girls, this is why so I thought it was funny that you didn't remember that you made my programs. I also thought it was funny that, like, it's so crazy because I grew up with my family, obviously. And so to hear, and to hear that, like, and I do remember that. I remember you saying that at some point. I just forgot that it was like a shock to you. Like, are they fighting? Why is everybody so loud? When in actuality, it was just like having conversation, but it was just really loud, really fast, and just like a lot. And so it's funny to hear like what you remember and what your experience was. So, and also funny to hear things that you didn't remember, like that you made my programs. And so yeah,
Hello, class.
but
My name is Miss
I do agree that it was like you having children. I think that's I think it was like gradual that the friendship grew.
My name is Olivia.
And then obviously
And I want you to be
us being pregnant at the same time, we for sure shared that commonality, and that's where the friendship grew and blossomed. And then using Marco Polo as a tool to, like, you know, have conversation, because we've never lived in the same state.
so funny.
Never. Not once, ever. And I love, though, and that's one thing that I was so impressed about our friendship
You weren't there.
that I never had with anybody else before, where we don't live in the same place, but we saw that we enjoyed each other. There was a friendship there, and we took the time and the intentionality to develop the friendship with kids, with life, relationship struggles, whatever we're going through.
know we will be married.
You're moving. Maddie, stop, please. You're moving all the time, and just all of the things going on, having babies, all of the things, we still are intentional in maintaining the friendship. And sometimes we'll go weeks and weeks without having said anything on Marco Polo or anything like that. But, and obviously we can still we still text each other too. We're gonna get out in a second. Of course we text each other too and stuff like that. But I just think it's I think it's something to be desired, that, or something to say that there's intentionality in our friendship. And I think that's so important, that, and I think this relationship shows that you work at what you want. You know, what's important to you and what you value, you make time for, and you work at it, and you find a way to develop it. Because while, yes, we have like family gatherings and all the types of things that we just spent spring break together at your house, and so although we do those things, our friendship has developed through Marco Polo, and I just love that. And so yeah, I just love that, and I love you. So anyway, girl, we're about to go inside the grocery store. Bye. Let me know what else you remember. I'm back. Also piggybacking off of, I forgot you mentioned Jamaica and the family reunion, and I agree with you. I think that's when I think that might be, you're right, where it kind of just tipped over the edge. I think we had a good friendship prior, but I think that is when things took a turn in a good way, because we both showed up to this family reunion with no spouses and 3 kids. I had 3, you had 2? Yeah, you only had 2, but 2 little ones, and I had Jaden's older, so I had older kids, but well, Maddie and Mason were, so yeah, we're 3 and then 5, so you're 2, and because you only had 2, right? Yeah, Zeke didn't exist yet, so you're 2, my 3, and we're at this reunion, no spouses, and understandably so, not a huge ton of help from others, because I get it, they're on vacation, nobody's trying to like watch our kids for us or help us, although you are correct. Shout out to Nadine, who did help us at one point, offer, and you had me cracking up because I forgot that we did go to the hotel, the resort bar, and ask them for an entire bottle, and they gave it to us, and we took that bottle up to the balcony and sipped our wine with our lashes that we put on that day, and looking cute, might I add. We did look cute in our little black jumpsuits and our lashes and our bottle that the hotel resort gave us. And so we were just like trying to have a good time, wrangle kids, and just, yeah, it was a lot. But I think that's when it really was starting to get real. That's when the friendship really like took a different, you know, ooh, girl, I do not like this look. Sidebar, my microblading is going away. Remember, I did it and that girl like botched my job, but it's finally starting to fade, and so now I need it done for real, you know what I'm saying? Hello. We're back at the store for the second time today.
Yeah.
Right? Because Mason has a project and we forgot something, and so we have to get
Like me.
something like a poster board. So anyway, but I just had to come back and say that I was remembering that I agree with you, that I think Jamaica, the reunion, was when things really started to like, our friendship really started to grow, and yeah, just kind of took off from there. And so, which this reminiscing has really got me appreciating our friendship, because it wasn't forced, it wasn't rushed, it was just, it's such a beautiful reminder that some of the best things take time, because it was really just gradual and no pressure, ease. There was no forcefulness on anybody's end, like, oh, you guys should be friends. We just, you know, it was just cordial because you were my brother's wife anytime you would show up. And then but I liked you as well, so it was more than just being cordial. It was just like, yeah, I really like this girl. But once you left, I think that was it. we didn't like, but it was like over time it just, and I love that it just developed so beautifully, so naturally over years. And again, the intentionality that we both have taken to nurture and care for and develop the friendship has been just amazing. It's just beautiful. So I love it. But yeah, so that just popped in my head. So anyway, we're gonna go in this store and we're gonna get some shopping done. Anyway, and we just came from the car wash because a bird dropped a big old load on
butt poop.
Yeah, huge. I'm talking not like the little splat, like this was a dump. Like this bird was preparing for a colonoscopy and dumped his insides on the, like, right, Maddie? It was a mountain. It was weird. I've never seen it like that before. And I was like, you know, I was about to like vomit. I was like, this is gross. We need to get to the car wash ASAP. So of course, stupid me, I tried. So we closed all the windows because I was
gagging?
It was gross, was it not? Wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it wasn't that like,
I thought it was gross.
it wasn't that gross where I was like gagging or anything.
I was when I decided to, because I wasn't gonna drive the whole way with this mountain, and so I put on the wipers to wipe it off. And I did, but then obviously you're spreading it. But now we got majority of it off, but then it left. You know how the wipers only get so much, it doesn't go into the deep corners. And so it did a good job wiping it off, but then it left like these like extras in the corners. And I was like, no, let's go, we gotta go to the car wash. And so we have the whole unlimited thing, and we went straight to Crew. And we had to wash the car. And so while we were at it, we just threw some trash out as well. So anyway, we love you. All right, bye. Come on, Maddie.